Hello folks, make you welcome to Politics Around the World on Enterprise Television. I am Henry Igwebike. Today, of course, a very interesting day to be alive. Most importantly because there are a litany of stories happening around the world, from Africa to the Americas to Asia to lots of other continents around the world. So many stories, but of course we take our time with the little time we have, of course, to look at some stories, and we'll be starting with Africa. And when we say Africa, we're starting with the richest country in the world with reference to mineral deposits, and that is the DRC, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and of course the fracas happening in that part of the world. And weeks after the Rwanda-backed M23 rebels claimed control of the Congolese city of Goma, the capital of North Kivu province, fighters are advancing into neighboring South Kivu despite calls from regional leaders for an immediate ceasefire. Yes, immediate ceasefire it is. And over the weekend, leaders from the Southern African Development Community, that's the SADC bloc, and the East African Community EAC bloc met in Tanzania to discuss a way forward to restore peace in Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo DRC, while the conflict is also high on the agenda at an African Union foreign ministers meeting in Ethiopia this week. And we have it authoritatively at the Tanzanian summit attended by Angola, Burundi, the DRC, Kenya, Madagascar, Malawi, Rwanda, Somalia, South Africa, South Sudan, Tanzania, Uganda, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. Leaders called for an immediate cessation of hostilities and the opening of humanitarian corridor. And of course, it's becoming a very big story there. And of course, there's been this battle between the president of DRC and the president of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, on who is wrong and who is right and all that. But of course, as much as we do not like what's happening over there, at the same time, we would love to be concerned about the nature and the ways Paul Kagame is going about his fight. Sometimes we are caught up with recency bias. That is when we forget about issues of the past and concentrate on the beauty of today. Paul Kagame has just so forgotten that Rwanda went through the same problem. Paul Kagame has so forgotten that Rwanda went through the same problem of genocide of some particular community, which of course he belongs to. And today Rwanda is in the best place in their lives as a country people, rather than Paul Kagame equally extending the same golden leaf to the Goma in DRC. He is rather, of course, creating problem that I want to believe would end up boomeranging to him, because of course the truth remains that no empire reigns forever, no emperor lasts for forever. I just sincerely hope that what's happening in Goma in the DRC would not boomerang on Rwanda, because the way it is beginning to look, the world is not happy, especially as regards Paul Kagame supporting the M23 against an independent state like the DRC. They are not happy about it, and of course something has to be done about that particular matter. So that's all we have on that story concerning the DRC and Africa. And from there we now move on to the United States of America, where we have it that the United States President Donald Trump's administration has again blocked the Associated Press from attending the White House event amid a dispute over the renaming of the Gulf of Mexico. The news organization has said that AP said on Thursday, that is, that Associated Press, that the White House prevented one of its reporters from attending Trump's new conference with visiting India Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Executive Editor Julia Pace, of course, with Associated Press, described the move as a deeply troubling escalation in the Trump's administration efforts to punish the news organization for its editorial decision. According to the man in charge of the Associated Press, he said, and I will quote it, "It is a plain violation of the First Amendment, and we urge Donald Trump's administration in the strongest of terms to stop this practice," Pace said in that particular statement. Now, this is the third day the Associated Press reporters have been barred from covering the president. First, it was as members of the pool, and now from a formal press conference. An incredible disservice to the billions of people who rely on Associated Press for non-partisan news. Now, it's often said that journalism is not a crime. Holding it to the neck is what the crime is. And I do not know if the United States are gradually descending to authoritarianism, to dictatorship, to tyranny, because I do not understand the one country in the world where freedom of speech is lauded, where freedom of speech is celebrated, where freedom of speech is the go-to place, numero uno, when the people are required to state what they want and what they mean and what they think about. Is so disheartening that in the same country where every other country around the world love to borrow a leave when it talk about freedom of speech, is the same country under Donald Trump that is holding onto the neck of freedom of speech and press freedom particularly. It's a very sad development, really, with Donald Trump, who is less than a month old, in a second phase as the president. I do not think that this is the best way to go about dealing with the press. Of course, so many times he has called the press very derogatory, statements and words and phrases he has used against the press. But asking that an organized press, right, that has all the rights in the world to cover events being prevented from attending, of course, issues pertaining everything that happens in the United States, is really not a good one. It's very, very ugly, and I think something has to be done about that. But of course, Donald Trump is one person. You don't tell him what he needs to do. He understands everything in his mind. But of course, this is not the best way to go when it comes about press freedom. Like I say, journalism is not a crime. Oppressing it is, and I think Donald Trump right about now is oppressing the Associated Press, that is the AP. That's just about the time we have for politics around the world today. Next week, of course, we'll be with you with more interesting stories around the world. Whenever they break, we promise you right here on Enterprise Television, we would be here to talk about them, but most importantly, analyze them such that you can better understand what the substance and the fiber is. My name is Henry Gwebike. I'll see you next time on Politics Around the World. And remember, you can check up on us and rewatch this, if you may, at Enterprise TV 7 across all social media platforms. And you may equally read about this story and more when you visit us at enterprisetvnews.com. Henry Gwebike is my name once more. I'll see you next time on Politics Around the World. Thank you so very much, and bye-bye.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.